up, me ducks. I was a bit slow there one time with me synchronization between getting the the countdown and the titles to play. I was like just sitting watching the count and I thought, "Ah, I'm at 1 second." So it could have been a lot worse. There could have been a much longer pause. I was going to open the chat on the laptop just in case there's anybody in from Facebook land, from the Hermit's Cave Facebook group, because I'm streaming there as well. And then, how's everybody doing? Thought I would start off as usual by doing a bit of a roll call, bit of a hello and welcome to people that are here. So Jason was the first one in. Nice to see you, Jason. And then Rebecca, who is popping in and out, but working, but will be able to catch up on bits. Well, you catch up when you can, Rebecca. Lovely to have you here. And then now Sandra's here. Hello, Sandra. And the lovely Cecilia and Beth. Nice to see you guys. Ramon is here. I don't know if you saw my question, Ramon, but Madonna tickets went on sale for the 40th anniversary. Can you believe? Still remember seeing her appearing on Top of the Pops in a shocking bright pink wig, dancing around to Like a Virgin. 40 years. Wow. But anyway, I wondered if you got your tickets because I know you're a fan. Ramon's actually sung with Madonna. Can you believe that? And we've got the lovely Ink Twitchy girl. Raven White, hello, nice to see you. And Ashley, happy Saturday to you too, Ashley. Long head, skinny eye toe. Lovely Kim, Andrea, Linda and Lily. And we've got Patrice. Hello, Tarot fam. We are a Tarot fam, aren't we? All coming together. It's lovely. And we've got Sassy J and Anne. Hello, Anne. And Kathy. I remembered. It's stuck. It's gone in, Michelle. I think it's because it's tortoise shell. There was a joke about that once, wasn't there? I can't remember, and I'm terrible at remembering jokes, but something about a fancy dress party. And this bloke came with his girlfriend on his back. And they said, what have you come as? And he said, a tortoise. He said, well, why's your girlfriend on your back? And he said, it's because it's Michelle. Yeah, that fell flat. Whoever told it at the time, many years ago, delivered it much better. Lisa Gavin Cruz, nice to see you. Been a while since I posted. Well, hello and welcome, or welcome back. Maharet is here, and we've got MA. Hello, MA. And the lovely Navneet is here. Hello, Navneet. We've got Redwing and Douglas. Hello, Douglas. Sarah, Raven Glands, Robin's here. And Sharona, nice to see you. Lynn Hayes, Raven Song, Trisha Wartooth is here. And our Chris. Hey, fuckers. Way to make an entrance, Chris. And then we've got Angelic Michelle. Michelle, see? No wonder this guy here gets confused. And we have Joe and Malamia. Hello, Malamia. Lovely to see you. And I think I've caught... Oh, Butterfly Moore is here. I'm doing cleaning in preparation for the Lunar New Year and listening as I clean. Wow. Well, I've been playing with ink, so I'll make apologies because I've got ink all over. Why is it only one finger now? I thought... Oh, yeah, my thumb. I was changing. I've actually run out. Well, not run out because I've got a big bottle of this ink. But I was writing earlier my prompts actually for this, and it ran out. And that's the first time using a fountain pen that the ink that I filled up has run out. So I obviously use this one quite a lot. And the ink that I use for this is the Diamine Arctic Blue. It's a nice big bottle of that, and it's got a shimmer look. So you shake that one to mix it up. But yeah, so I filled that It looks green on camera, doesn't it? But it's not. It's a nice blue colour with a shimmer. Um, Hello, Karina. Has anybody else come in since I said that? Maruta as well, and Gemstones. Uh, I can see where your mind went. Jealous of your Madonna tickets. You've got Who's got Madonna tickets? I missed that. How much? Because like I heard there's about £200, which is what, about $250. I'm going to go and see ABBA. Well, the Avatar show, and that's like £75 a ticket, although I think we can get some a little bit cheaper. But when my friend who's getting the tickets was like £75 each and then booking fees, I'm like, £75? They're not even there. They're not even going to rock up. But apparently it's like a once in a lifetime thing. So, yeah, so I can't really get Madonna. I have seen Madonna 3 times, twice in concert, and the third time, well, still in concert, but it was at Live 8. So she performed a few songs there, so I saw her then as well. My friend got Madge tickets for £350. Just, I can't. What a roll call. Right, Anne? It's lovely to see so many people here. And there's still people filing in, so hello to everybody. I love a sparkle. Can't beat a good sparkle, can we? That's my show. Are you a little bit behind Forever We're After? Yeah, I'm not the best at telling jokes. Talking of which, there's been a few people who have been doing my old hashtag. Made a bit of a resurgence. Can you remember TarotTubers A to Z? Where I think I called it Get to Know Your TarotTubers, and then it had a hashtag of TarotTubers A to Z, and people did the alphabet. It's probably the most popular tag I've ever done, and a few people have been doing it recently, and I only know because now you can actually tag people, can't you? So I started getting notifications saying you've been tagged in this video, and I've forgotten all about it. I thought that might be. I think it was last Sunday. I thought I'll sit and watch that. I've not seen it. And in that there's one under J. It's tell a joke, and I'm just not comfortable telling jokes because they always seem to fall flat. And I think people just laugh at my jokes out of pity. Like, oh. I don't think it's genuine. That's what we call a dad joke in the US. Yeah, exactly. I remember it. Yeah, I think you even did it, Sandra. I think you did. There was a lot of people, like I say, did that one though. So the amount of tags going around is quite overwhelming. It's a lot at the minute. I haven't been on YouTube that much of late. Lots of good things to watch, but we'll never be able to catch up on them all. Beth says, I forget the joke halfway through, so it doesn't really work. Yeah, you did do it, Sandra. Yeah, that was cute, you telling that joke, Simon. The dad joke, Patrice. Or the one in the TarotTubers A to Z. That's one joke that always sticks in my head, because I remember hearing it years ago and actually, laughing that much that I was nearly crying. Because I was with my sister. Me and my sister, all the way through our lives, have always been in those situations, where you really shouldn't laugh, but then you do. And the more you try not to laugh, the more you laugh and the more funny it becomes. And invariably one of us ends up leaving the room because we just can't cope with the situation. And it was just, yeah. But I always remember that joke because it was quite a good joke. It's the joke about Dave, but you'll have to go watch it. I'm not going to tell it again now. Okay. So today I thought I would, because this morning I got up early, as I always do at the weekend, 5 a.m. Hopped in the shower, got ready, got in the car, 30-minute drive to my friend's, meet him near a park. We walk the dogs and have a coffee and that sort of thing. And it was pitch black this morning and it was freezing cold. So I've got a woolly hat on, I'd got my gloves on, you know, a fleece that comes up to my neck. But it's fantastic and it's a great start to the day. Lots of people are like, oh, you must be mad getting up that time at the weekend, but I actually like it. It's good for the soul. It's good. Walking is good for you anyway. And yeah, it's just great. But as we got halfway round where we walk, it started to get light, and the scene across the fields this morning. I should have filmed it really if I'd thought about it. Everywhere was covered in frost, and there was a really low mist, and was at this high point, and you could just see across all the fields this mist in the trees and coming across the fields, and you know, complete white over, and it was freezing cold. You could see your breath, and it just felt like a proper wintry day. And it's been lovely today. The sun has been out all day, but it's been a winter sun. But it was just a really, and as we started off, you could see all the constellations because it was pitch black when we started. You know, I could see the Big Dipper, I could see the plough, and yeah. But it really, and I thought, wow, winter. This is kind of like, we hadn't had snow or anything here yet in the Midlands where I am, and I thought this is like the first proper wintry day. So I've been in a wintry mood, and I've been meaning to, since way before Christmas, do a VR to Kelly Bear. She did her first ever tag in December, and it's still winter, so it's still applicable. And if anybody else wants to join in, do it. I've put the hashtag in the description. And like I said, I've been meaning to do it, but never actually found the time to get round to it. And then because I felt so wintry today, I thought today's a good day to do that tag. That sounds so beautiful. Sounds magical. It was amazing. And you know, we've seen deer run through those fields, particularly in the summertime when the corn is quite high before the harvest. And we've seen deer, we've seen all sorts, and it's such a big open expanse. There is trees kind of like on the trail where you walk, but as you look across, there's this huge expanse with woodland to one side. And it's beautiful, really beautiful. Definitely feeling the winter vibes. It's freezing here. Winter can be dark and miserable time, but beautiful and magical too. Yeah, the winter I really don't like are when it's grey. And we get a lot of grey days in the UK. But you know, when it's drizzly and grey, and you don't see the sun and it never really gets light. Today has been a beautiful winter day. You know, like I said, it was frosty and crisp, and then it's been sunny all day, clear skies, but very cold. So that's the sort of winter I like. I've been trying to find a beauty in winter instead of the struggle with it. My house is covered in snow all the way up to my roof. Wow. Yeah, and I think there's a few of us that really struggle. I mean, like I've said before, in winter, as the winter comes, there's things to look forward to. You know, you've got Samhain or Halloween. Over here, we've got bonfire night. So there's lots of celebratory stuff, and then you've got the advent of Christmas, and all the lights go up, and it feels magical, and there's a nice spirit in the air, and there's markets and fairs and all that sort of stuff. And then New Year's happens, and then it's, yeah, okay, we've still got another couple of months, and nothing happens in January and February other than us trying to keep to our resolutions and write journals and everything else. But yeah, it does seem like a long slog from New Year's to spring, doesn't it? We have the little Sabbats to look forward to as well and honour. I've just been up north for 2 weeks, had a couple of mornings of almost 0 degrees. Wow. Hello, Black Cats and Hurricanes. Nice to see you. It's been a mild January here in America in the south. The winter I don't like. The winter I don't like is March. It starts off cold. Yeah, see, sometimes we have a really nice March. I always remember when I first left school and started working at a theme park, we had a beautiful, hot, warm March. It was lovely. People were in t-shirts and yeah. Oh, Robin says grey days are his favourite. I should move to the UK. Well, you'd get plenty, you'd get your fair share. So much potential possibility. Rain, snow, sun, or just moodiness with no sign of what it is as the day passes. Yeah, it just feels dirty here. And maybe it's because I live in a city, but you know when it's grey and drizzly, that fine stuff that soaks you through, as Peter Kay would say. You know, it's just yeah. Ugh. There you go, Robin, move here. Imolk in February, yeah. Plum is out. Is Plum here? Plum, with that icon, is who I call my big sis, Giselle. When it said Plum is out, I thought, oh, is Giselle here? Do you get snow where you are, Simon? We used to. But with the change of, the way the seasons are changing, some winters we don't have any at all. And then very often it comes, I mean, it was snowing this time 5 years ago because my Facebook memories came up today. And I was out for Sunday lunch with my parents 5 years ago. And we had a covering of snow whilst we was having Sunday lunch in this restaurant. I put something like, we only nipped in for a light bite and we've come out to all this snow. And it tends to come more January, February time. We've even had it as far as like April, but sometimes we just get a little drizzle of snow and then it's gone in a day. Gone all the days, like when I was a kid, when we'd have snow and it would stick around for weeks. But it's a good thing because everything comes to a standstill in the UK if we get a little bit of snow. There she is. There's my Plum. I've just been talking about you, Giselle, and then you've appeared. Unless you was in here earlier, and that's why someone's put Plum is out. I don't know. I don't know what's going on, but it was Antoinette Tony put Plum is out, and it was the little plum tomato logo, and I was looking for you. I'm on my phone. It doesn't give me all the chat. Apologies if I missed anyone. Well, yeah, we summoned your presence. All right, so let's start then with this this tag. I've got decks everywhere. Some of these, and this is the risk as well when I do a tag, because I talk about the decks that I love so much. I often feel that when I'm responding to a tag, they're like, you're going to be like, oh, well, we knew that one. So let's get the first one out of the way, because you're all going to know what it is, although I have got two. But the tag is Tarot Winter Wardrobe. And what Kelly has done is she has taken items from your winter wardrobe, like a hat or a scarf or mittens, and linked them to tarot decks. So for example, you've got an ugly Christmas jumper, or you've got your base layers, or your scarf is that wraparound hug deck. So it's themed in that way, and it's quite clever. So we're starting with number one, which is the base layers. And do feel like you can join in, if you've got a base layer deck, the decks that are fundamental to your practice, then include them. And fundamental for me, I'm taking that as kind of like foundational. The decks that are my foundation, my basics, that kind of deck. So you're all going to know my first one is the, I nearly said the Hermit, is the RWS deck. this is my fundamental. This is my basic deck. And, you know, there are 1,001 iterations now of this deck. But, you know, we all say, don't we, and we've talked about if you could only grab one deck. As long as I've got an RWS deck, I'm happy with this deck for the rest of my life. You know, I can carry on reading tarot. Everything else is a bonus, and it's a passion, and it's a hobby, and it's my interest, and I love to see different kind of variations and what artists come up with, colours and tones and themes. But this for me is the tarot for me. And I know every time I say this is the tarot, people are like, it's not the tarot. The tarot was around a lot longer than 1909. I know that. But what I mean is, you know, if someone says to me, you know, if I say to you, pink elephant, you're all going to visualize a pink elephant, okay? But everybody that's visualizing that pink elephant will see it in a slightly different way, even might be looking at it from a different angle. If someone says to me, the tarot, what I see in my mind's eye is images from this deck, okay? But that's going to be different for other people depending on what tradition you're with. This one in particular is a Conrad Stain. It's based on the Pam A, so you can get Pam A. Now, as a favour, I asked him if he would do me one on thicker cardstock, because I'm never going to have a Pam A, but the Pam A was thick cards. It was a chunky deck. And this one is my base layer of clothing in my winter wardrobe, because this for me is, you know, as I said, my deck. It's the one that, for me, if you're talking RWS, obviously everything else has come from, but this is the one that I would just grab and use and read with. And whenever I've done readings for other people, with the exception if people have been here and they've chosen a deck off the shelf and will say to me, will you read my cards with this deck? Then I always use a bog standard RWS to read for people. And I love this one because it's got this, it's almost like, it's hard to describe it, but like a waxy feel, a bit like the Centennial. I think it's because of the thicker cardstock, but it's matte, it is beautiful. The difference with this against the Centennial has those obnoxious copyrights on the front of the cards, whereas this doesn't. So this is my my base layer. Now, Kelly says, base layers, thermals, which decks are fundamental to your practice? Now, you will all know that I don't read the Thoth. It's not a system. No, sorry. It's not a tarot is the system. It's not a tradition that I read or one that I can connect with. It's not one I particularly enjoy. Why is this now playing up? Okay, back in the box. But Marseille and Pip decks, I do quite enjoy. Where should I put them when I've done with it? I don't want to get mixed up. I'll pop them there. So, if we're talking of the Marseille decks that, you know, we kind of think of more sort of traditional ones, not modern variants, or then I would probably go with the Dodal. I think the Dodal is my favourite. Artisan Tarot recently released the Reveal, and I really enjoyed that. I had great readings with the Reveal. I find that quite cheeky. But the Dodal is a gorgeous deck, and I've liked that for quite a few years. However, I haven't chose the Dodal because I thought about the Marseille deck I grabbed the most. And at one time, I would have said to you, and it's still a favourite of mine, is the new Choice Tarot de Marseille by Ross Salerno. I love it. I absolutely love it. But I have found that I grab for this deck the most. And this is a pouch that was done by Anne, who's in the group. She's also, I've got a backup of this deck as well, and my backup deck is also in a pouch that was done by Anne. But I chose this one because can you see the red and the gold stars? Does it give you a clue? Because I think this pouch pairs beautifully with this deck, because it also has the red and gold stars on the back. Now, I was very brave, and I edged this in like a turquoise colour, because this deck has some amazing, look at how that amazing turquoise coloured cards in it. So I can see you all talking about underpants. I'm going to pause after each prompt and just see what you guys are saying. But this is the Taradeo Arcs, and it's a play on words. It's meant to sound French, O as in A-U-X, and Arcs, A-R-C-S, but it's Ozarks because the creator was from the Ozarks. But this Marseille deck, or Marseille inspired deck, is just gorgeous. It has different colours. It's quite, you know, it reminds me of the old wood blocks by the way that the kind of print is outside the lines, but it's got this modern vibe to it as well. I love the kind of stenciling of the titles. Just a gorgeous deck. Let's show you a couple of others on different colours. Look at that one. And these cards look amazing in a spread as well. One of my old intro videos had these cards laid out on a table, and I got more comments like, what deck is that? I think it's still available. I think you can still get it. They don't come with these backs anymore. This is the first edition. I've got a first edition and a second edition, because when I edged it, this tiny, it's a hardly noticeable amount of bleeding, and I thought, oh, I've ruined it. So I bought another one, but actually I hadn't. Look at that. Here's the death card. Gorgeous death card. Yeah, I just love this. Here's the Hermit. So, prompt number 1, base layers. The decks that are fundamental to your practice, obviously RWS, but I couldn't not include Marseille. And like I say, I was going to show New Choice Tarot de Marseille, but I thought, actually, I've been pulling this one a lot more than New Choice Tarot de Marseille. Right, let's have a look what you lot have been saying. Something about underpants. So that's where Giselle came in. Hey, my little radish. No, I wasn't, but I'll catch up later. Well, your ears must have burnt then, Giselle, because we were just mentioning you. I was looking for you because somebody mentioned plums out or something like that. That sounds terrible now, doesn't it? Plums out. I'm duly summoned. Is there an RWS or 3? You know me well. I'm not going to respond here because hopefully in the next few days I'll do this tag. That'll be cool. Grunkle's here. Arrive late, leave early, but at least I was here for a bit. Well, thanks for popping in. Not the Blushing Fool. Well, I mean, the Blushing Fool is a you know, an original, isn't it? It's based on one of the originals from 1909 or 1910. So I just mean, you know, not something like the Golden Girls Tarot or Everyday Witch, or a modern take on an RWS. I meant Pixie's artwork. Deviant Moon is my base layer. That's a good one. My base layer is a TDM. Maybe the Piatnik. The Piatnik is great. I love the Piatnik. Foundation deck for me, the Toth, closely followed by Dorel Mosse. You're a Toth person, are you, Anne? I never knew that. We can no longer be friends. No, I'm joking. See, I can tell a joke. Are you trying to tell me RWS is your underpants? Yes. Oh, now I get it. Now I get it. The base layer. Yeah, it's your thermals. Yes, definitely. Everyday Witch. Oh, talking of which, Everyday Witch is my base layer. Patrick Valenza is supposed to be pulling out many decks this year. There's one at the moment. It looks great. I'm just not buying from overseas at the minute unless I'm just not. It's just, not in the current climate where, we've got cost of living crisis happening. Is the Dodol the one with the naughty bits hanging out? But that's not why it's my favourite. Madwitch, I bet if he could have RWS underpants, he would. Who was it showing tarot socks? Somebody was showing tarot socks the other day, and I was like, oh my gosh, there's tarot socks now. Oarks pronounced Ozarks. Best ever in my opinion. It's great. It's a great deck. This is a Marseille deck that I did keep, but that's good to know. Yes, Simon. The Dodal and the Tarot Des Oarks. Yeah. Keep saying Des, it's Day, isn't it? I didn't recognise the back, so I must have a later edition. Yeah, the second edition has got an orange back with a flower. In fact, you did me a pouch. It is up there. Let me just get it, just so people can see. I think it's in this pouch. Maybe. Oh no, because that's. Talk amongst yourselves. Don't want to get mixed up here. No, that's my new choice. It would probably take me too long to find it, I think. I know it's on my desk because... Oh, I've got it. It is in the pouch that you... Because I thought your pairings... I mean, we saw how close that one is. Look at this. And this is a lovely one that Anne did. Because the backs for this one look like that. So I thought that was quite clever. I didn't edge this one. I just left it. This is my backup. So this is the second edition. Okay, so, trying to get it in, hold on. You never know what Patrick Valenza is going to come out with or how long he's going to take, but it's almost always going to be cool and worth it. I agree. Yeah, I mean, I will get, but that's coming out mass market, I will get the Deviant Moon Oracle from US Games. And then he did talk about doing a Deviant Sun, but I don't know if that's still happening or not. Okay, let me see if I can catch up. Zimmer Twins Oracle, that's the one he's got at the moment. Artisan Tarot has socks. That might be what I saw then. Um, hello, Pam Journal. Create. Nice to see you. First time making a live. Well, welcome. It's lovely to have you here. Not friends anymore. And always, we'll always be friends. Um, yeah. Giselle says, don't worry, Anne. I'm a TDM lover, so I'm on the naughty step too. Giselle did a video earlier, and in there she was like, I'm desperately trying to get away from RWS. And I was like, desperately trying to get away from her? And she was like, do you forgive me? I was like, yes, of course. Okay, so prompt number 2 is the ugly Christmas jumper. So this is, and it doesn't have to be an ugly deck, but you know, because we all love our Christmas jumpers, don't we? It's that sort of novelty kind of deck that brings us joy. Okay, so probably a bit of a weird choice, and I did have a couple of contenders for this. And I've shown it recently because it was a deck that I used around Samhain last year. And I absolutely love this deck. And it is a little bit ugly and it is a little bit disturbing, but I get great readings from this deck. And it, even though it's macabre, it's I find I do get joy from using it. And it's the Ritual Abuse Tarot. Not a great name, we all know. I wish it was called something else. But there is something about this artwork that, I mean, look at that for Queen of Wands. I mean, just look at her. I absolutely love it. Look at the Hermit. It's an amazing deck. These are the backs, by the way. The King of Wands. And I know people are saying it's the artwork is reminiscent of a book. Is it things that go bump in the night or something like that? The Page of Pentacles. Look at that inverted pentacle on his forehead. There's the moon. I mean, look at that dog. Our Fool. I think Simon has banished me due to toth addiction. No, banished you? It's called, Chris, it's called the Ritual Abuse Tarot. Strange name, I know. The devil. But you know what? Seriously had some amazing reads with this card, with this deck. I love it. Really love it. It is kind of a wintry deck. I always tend to pull this one out around Samhain. But it lingers. It doesn't go back on the shelf. It lingers kind of through winter. Two of Wands. It's similar to the Tarot Nuage. Is it? In what sense? The Lovers. Let's see if I can find a couple more to show you. Love the Eight of Cups. I think it's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. The Three of Swords. that I always want to call Three of Hearts every time I see it. Still, all these years on. Strength. Hello, Tammy Pie. Some Murder of Crows, anyone? That would be hoi polloi. Do you know, Kathy, I thought about hoi polloi. I actually thought about it, and then I was like, but it's another RWS deck, and I'd be like, ugh. And actually, this one is a little bit more sort of, well, not novelty, but a little bit kind of obscure. And lots of people say it's so ugly, but there's a beauty in the macabre. Simon, what's your favourite season? What's your favourite season? It fluctuates between spring and autumn. I think autumn, but
I'm not sure I understand.
why is my watch talking to me? Yeah, I think autumn, but I think that's because I've just been through autumn. I like spring for the fact that we get through January and February and those dark grey drizzly months. And spring just feels like, spring and summer. You know, the sun comes on your face, you can start taking off all your winter clothes, beautiful flowers coming up. And there's something about spring that I really like. But I really love autumn as well. I love the colours of autumn. I love the crunchy leaves under your feet when you're walking through woodland areas in autumn. Yeah, so I'm more a spring and autumn person than I am a summer and winter person. And I know when I get to spring, I probably think, yeah, this is my favourite season. But then I get to autumn, and so maybe I just love them both equally. So spring is so magical, all the seasons have their place. Yeah, and I'm really glad that I do live in a country pretty much where we get all 4 seasons. You know, when I was younger, I really wanted to live in America, and it almost happened. And they just kind of have 2 seasons over there. You know, they have snow on their mountaintops till like June, sometimes July. So, and yeah, I just love the change in seasons that we get in the UK. Fall is my favourite. Ugly Christmas jumper, but one that always comes out yearly, even though it's a love-hate. Carnival at the End of the World, that's a really good one. Yeah, I've got that. It is an interesting deck, isn't it? Okay. It depends on the region in the US. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so prompt number 3 is the winter coat. So that is the workhorse deck, because a winter coat, if you're going out, you always need it. So it's your workhorse. It's the most used, and the only way I could answer this without going back to the original RWS, which is probably my most used deck of all time over a long period of time, is to go with the most used deck now, my current most used deck. And again, if you've watched me for a couple of months, you probably won't be surprised about this one, because there's just something, I'm having a real love affair with this deck. And you probably recognise it from the backs. It is the Old Fellow Revived. And after watching Robin's video with the blonde mini, I also dug out the pocket size. So it's not really a mini, and this one is in linen, but it's exactly the same. And there's not that much really of a size difference when you can put them together like that. That doesn't really help, does it? Do it that way. So it's a more manageable size, and I've been using this one quite a bit, and because it's linen, it's got a lot more sort of flexibility to it. But fantastic deck, and I got it a few months ago. The creator of the deck sent me like quite a lot of samples to say, what do you think? Because it's based on the Keisha Tarot, which was one of the first kind of hybrid decks where it's got Marseille style images but fully illustrated pips following the RWS, and it's from 1971, I believe, and it's well out of print. It does come up on eBay, but apparently the cardstock is like paper, and they have the copyright right through the image, which would drive me insane. So we've got this version, and there's other versions. I do want to get the blonde one that Robin's got because it does look really, really nice. But for those people who love Marseille, but they struggle with pips, like Sandra, I know you won't mind me saying, you always said, you know, I'd love to be able to work with Marseille, but you just struggle with the pips. Then, you know, here's, you know, 3 of Cups. We've got fully illustrated minors, the 2 of Coins, following the RWS. Love the Death card. Yeah, so this deck I just adore, and I've just been working with it so much. At least every day I pick this deck up just to shuffle it. This is the Superior Smooth. The linen is the pocket edition. But yeah, it's just gorgeous. There's the Moon card. And the World. I love the colours that she's used and the tones. I look at that for the perspective of the 9 of Swords. I thought you were going to say Dirty Pan because it's the one you use when reading for others. What, for the workhorse? Yeah, no, I just thought I would go with... See, when I read for others, a lot of the... Yeah, Dirty Pam, yeah, that's true. I do. How did you know? have I mentioned that? People have probably told you that I've done readings for as well. Yeah, I've got my little trimmed Dirty Pam that Kelly Bear trimmed for me before I even started modifying decks. Probably about 5 years ago. And because it's trimmed, it's smaller, so you can get, if I do like a year ahead spread, which is a 13 card spread, I can fit them in nicely. So I tend to use that one. But yeah, I just adore this. Really, really adore it. It's fast become one of my favourite decks ever. I love it. Almost as much as the RWS. And it's available on NPC. And if you just go to Google and type in Old Fellow Revived, it comes up as the first thing and takes you straight to NPC anyway. So you don't, because NPC can be a nightmare to navigate. Simon is jealous of the US, and many of us would love to live in the UK. I'm not jealous of the US. I was married to an American, and I spent a lot of time there 20 years ago. And I had the option to live there. I was going through immigration and everything, but it's a beautiful, and I've only seen, gosh, a fraction of it, 5, 6 states I think I've seen, and there's 50, isn't there? So beautiful, but I don't want to live there. Yet as a teenager, I was obsessed with wanting to move to America. And working at the American Adventure theme park, it was like, oh. And then when your dream sometimes becomes a reality, and maybe it was the state that I was moving to, you know, but anyway. So that was prompt number 3. To see if there's any more from anybody else. Colours are nice. Very cool. Workhorse is Robin Wood. Robin Wood is a good deck. And that's a classic, isn't it? Anna Kay. Oh, I love Anna Kay. Have you got the indie or the mask? You can get both still. And I really love the cardstock of the indie deck. Yes, if you make me a mod, I can put in, let's see if I can do it here. Go to channel, add moderator. There you go, Robin. You must have mentioned it sometime and it stuck with me. Promise I'm not spying on you with the black leotard and suction cups. No, but I've done readings for people that are mutual friends, and I didn't know if perhaps they'd mentioned it or shared it or anything like that. Because I always say to people when I've done readings, you know, this video is yours. You can keep it forever. You can share it with whoever, but I won't, you know, because that's my ethics. It's between you and I. But once you've got it, it's up to you what you do with it. So I didn't know if perhaps it had been shared. Modern Way Tarot. Please do a view on it, Simon. I don't have it. Modern Way. Modern Way? No, I don't have it. I don't have Modern Way. Oh, the visual, Chris. It's a long-standing joke between Chris and I because he did a quiz once. I think it was a Christmas quiz, wasn't it? Maybe a couple of years ago, we did this Christmas quiz, and I was almost. He was like, I've only just finished saying it, and I was there with the answer. And he's like, how are you doing it this fast? And I was like, I'm outside the window, not knowing at the time that he was on a first floor. And he's like, well, I'm not sure, Simon, unless you've, you know, scaling my walls with some suction cups. Because I'm up at upper level. So it's kind of stuck from that. Thank you, Robin, for putting the link in to the Old Fellow tarots. They are a real treat. They really are. Okay, so the next one, prompt number 4, is the Snow Boots. Now this is your deep dive decks that you really want to sink into. This was a tough one for me because if you saw my videos running up to Christmas, there were 3 decks that I said would be study decks for me because I'd got 2 weeks off work, and I really wanted to, you know, spend some time getting to know decks that were a little bit off what I was used to. So one was Cilla Conway's Old Gods Tarot, which, oh my God, the way Cilla writes is incredible. So I've really enjoyed reading that book and getting to know the old gods within that deck. The second one was the Star That Never Walks Around, which I saw on Giselle's channel and was able to get it from eBay, I had to think then. And again, because I'm not that familiar with the indigenous people of the US, in particular, you know, this creator's heritage, the deck creator's heritage, I really wanted to study the book, which again, great. And I just started, before having to go back to it, dipping my toes into Dame Fortune's Wheel Tarot. Now, what I love about this is that this deck is a kind of, again, it's a little bit hybrid. It's a deck that is inspired by lots of different traditions. So Itea, Marseille, etc., Turia. But what is brilliant, and it is a pip deck, but it's semi-pip, semi-scenic. The artwork is fantastic. Back's a little bit kind of, that reminds me of wallpaper we had in our kitchen in the 1970s. But what's brilliant about this deck in particular, let me show you, you know, you see something like this and you think it's very Marseille inspired. And the miners are kind of more towards, there it is, more towards the Atea. There's a significator card as well, which, like I said before, I wish every tarot creator created a significator card, because I use significators quite a lot. Beautiful, beautiful deck. But the book, I decided, and you don't have to, because it comes in a little tuck box from Los Carabeo. I think the name kind of lets it down, Dame Fortune's Wheel Tarot. Because when I've seen it in shops and things, I've just kind of been like, I mean, look at the Three of Swords. It's just a gorgeous deck. Really, really gorgeous deck. But what I like about the book is there is so much information in this, and it describes every card and what you're seeing. So like here, Trump 10, the Wheel of Fortune, the Roman goddess Fortuna held a strong appeal for the late pagan mind. She appears in, and it goes through the history and the inspiration. The Estensi partial deck from Ferrara also provides the basis for the design of this card for the Hermit. And it really helps you learn about kind of different systems and lineages of tarot. And it's written in a really beautifully and easy to understand. It's got biblical references, Matthew 25:31-46. When talking about, you know, the judgment card. I mean, look at that for a judgment card. It's not the biggest book, but I just started to read it and I thought, yeah, this is one that I still want to do some deep dives with. So, oh, thank you, Sandra. So, for sharing the link. So, yeah. So, for me, my snow boots at the moment is Dame Fortune's Wheel Tarot. And I love it. I really love it. Let's see if there's any other snow boots from people who, what do you guys want to deep dive with? Hello, Carolina. The name's Hermit. Simon Hermit, Q James Bond theme. Where's that come from? What's that in relation to? Simon, I might have missed it, but did you do a walkthrough of the star that doesn't walk around? I did. And I think I linked both of your videos into the description, because you've actually done 2 walkthroughs. And in your second one, you say something like, I'm sure I've shown this video, but I can't find it. And I'm like, I found it. So I'm going to do it again, but you went into more depth in the second one. So I linked them both in my video. But yes, I did. It was before Christmas. But I can totally understand why you will have missed it with everything you've had on. Hello, our Simon in chat. Hello, Protect My Energy. Nice to see you. Oh, Sandra's saying that I did. And that's why the link's in there. Thank you. What is a significator card? So, I mean, it's up to you how you use it. But if you're using a traditional 78 card tarot deck, you might want to use a significator card, if reading for yourself, because it might be different for others, that represents you or the situation that you're consulting the cards about. Okay. So I often used to use, for me, the Page of Cups as my significator card. So I would use that. But then when you're doing a reading, you're never going to get you're never going to get the Page of Cups, because you're using it as a significator. Okay. And you might want to give a message for me, I do, you know, what will help and what will hinder. So having an additional card that's a significator card that stands outside of the 78, you're getting the full deck to work with around your significator, if that makes sense. So yeah, Benabel's Spirit Keeper is a deep dive deck, absolutely. Wildwood Tarot, that's a good one. And I'm surprised people haven't said about the Arthurian Tarot, because there's the whole Hollow Quest thing where you can really deep dive, and that's like a year-long study, isn't it? Yes, and Giselle was said here, significator chosen to represent the querent. So again, for the querent, what is their question? What are they wanted a consultation from the tarot on? You could use a card that represents the situation or their question. A Year in the Wildwood. Yeah, there's 2 books out now for that, isn't there? Yeah, okay. So, prompt 5, there's 7 altogether, so we're doing all right for time. Prompt 5 is the hat. Okay, so your winter warmer, your woolly hat. A deck, I love Kelly's terminology. A deck that twists your noggin. So the one that you struggle to connect with or to understand or to read, you know, those decks that really are difficult. I thought of a couple for this. I mean, there's decks that I just can't read because they just leave me feeling cold, like Thoth, I'm sorry for Thoth lovers, or the Fountain Tarot. But what I went with, and a solution, is I went with the Solar Booster, because the Solar Booster is such an important deck in tarot history, in the lineage of tarot. Believed to have also inspired Pixie. This one is by Giordano Berti. It's got lots of little extras and things like that in it. He always puts them in these gold lame bags. But I don't know. It's great. I mean, the quality of this is like museum quality. It's a gorgeous deck. But for me, and I don't know about anybody else, nigh on impossible to read as a tarot deck, but gorgeous. Yeah, I'm coming to that. Chris is like the source of that damn 3 of Swords. I mean, it's gorgeous. I mean, look. For its historical significance and the artistry of it, and you can see where inspiration came from for Pixie. I do love that card, and I love that card as well. But this is the card that Chris is referring to. And I think I'm right in saying that this is the oldest surviving deck that still has all of the images. Because I know, you know, there's kind of like the Madrone and the Visconti Sforza, but, you know, artists have had to kind of add to that over time. So that is the one that is my one that twists my noggin. And then the lovely Irene from Tarot by 7 created, and after I bought it, she went and sent me one with key titles and keywords on it as well. This deck, which is the Solar Booster Revived. this is the 3rd edition. I edged it in red to match the backs, and she turned it into using the artwork, but using also photo manipulation. So she's used something like Photoshop to make it fit more. It now follows a 78, you know, tarot with the 4 suits, the major arcana. And she did a fantastic job because the artwork is wonderful. She has used, you know, artistic license for things like the Hanged Man. It's now tarot size as well. This one is on linen cardstock. So here, for instance, the Hanged Man. There'll be characters that appear elsewhere in the deck that have been changed, and the position of the leg has been changed and things like that. Kind of RWS. I would say RWS. But I wouldn't, you know, if somebody wasn't used to RWS and they said, oh, can you recommend an RWS deck to learn to read with? I wouldn't choose this one. But if you are, you know, quite adept in reading RWS, then you won't have a problem with it. So here we have the 10 of Swords. Look, she's added like the number 10 and things like that. But again, it's not just a 10 that's placed there. It's really in keeping with the art style. And there's that guy again. That's quite graphic. Yeah, so I was thrilled, and then obviously this became the 2 look at the bottom. When she released this, there is she sent me another version as well, which does have titles on it. So, you know, if you were struggling to place some of the images, then there's a titled version as well. So, yes, that was my hat deck, the one that twists my noggin. I heard that too, that Solar Busca is currently the oldest complete deck. Yes, I thought so. I love the deck itself, but I also great mythology, so I'm excited to get into it. Which one's that? Is that the Arthurian? I really struggle with Solar Busca. I think everybody struggles with it. Gorgeous deck. Okay, so second to last one then is the scarf. So this is, you know, that wraparound, that comfort, the hug deck that gives you comfort and support. I've got 3 decks to show you for this because I couldn't decide, and she did say hug decks. So I thought, well, there's an S there. So for me, this is about, you know, if you want to do a reading, but you want it to be a little bit softer with you, you want it to be a little bit gentle, then there are 3 decks that, for me, they all are clones of the RWS. But I don't know, there's just something about them that you can't help but just be like, oh. Okay, sometimes it's cold enough to wear 3 scarves, exactly, or wrap it round 3 times if it's a long one. So the first one I'm going to show you is this little beauty. I've showed it before, but I shall show it again. It's in a yellow pouch. It's got these gorgeous yellow backs. Lovely metallic red edges. And this is the Smith Tiny. Now this afternoon, because I wanted to show you these, I put all three in order. So this is an RWS clone, like I said, and it's got these really cute images. Cardstock, it's Destiny are the creators of this deck, and they do amazing, beautiful matte cardstock. One of the best, you know, cardstocks that come out from a creator, and every time they never fail. It's gorgeous. But yeah, I loved this as soon as I saw it, and for the longest time it was my favorite of their decks, of all the decks that they've done. I really adored the Smith Tiny. I get asked a lot from people, you know, my child or my niece or whoever is starting to show an interest in tarot. Would you recommend a deck for them? And I would recommend any of these three that I'm going to show you. There are nudity, so you know, just because they're kind of doll-like doesn't mean you know, that they change the symbolism or anything like that. It does follow RWS. There is an additional card, which is a happy squirrel. Again, you could use this as a significator card if you wanted to, and that's something you could do. And I think they also added, but it's probably in the box, a Pamela Coleman Smith and Arthur Edward Waite. They did. So we've got a Pixie card, Pamela Coleman Smith, Arthur Edward Waite, and then I think the Print House in London. Yeah, William Ryder and Son. And I love that. Oh, that's the certificate of authenticity. I'd love to get one of those little picture frames with the three, and perhaps have it framed. I think it'd look cute. So yeah, Smith Tiny by Destiny is fantastic. They came out with a second edition, which was like holographic lamination on it, so it kind of shone, and it was okay. I'm not going to show you more because they're literally, you know, the same as the RWS, but just with you know, this kind of cuteness to it. Yeah, so the second edition was okay, but the cardstock for this is just so dreamy that and this pouch, it wasn't a gift from Kelly, because she does, you know, birthdays and things, she'll send me one, but this is one I grabbed quickly when she did a shop restart, because I wanted a yellow one for me Smith Tiny. So that's that one. So that was my favourite by theirs until they released Old School. There is a large, this is the second version, and it's full tarot sized, and this is the one I put in order this afternoon. I haven't put the little one in because and this one has green metallic edges. But what I love about this, again, I mean, look how thick it is. The cardstock is gorgeous. It's a similar vibe, but the idea is that it kind of follows like the Looney Tunes, old Disney kind of cartoon images. And it's so much fun. Now that one is a backup, because the little version, which is, I'm not going to say pocket because it's bigger than pocket, but it's a smaller one. This one, when it was released, it's in plastic. It's plastic cardstock, and it has my favourites, like a copper bronze gilding on it. It feels really heavy as well, you know, because it's plastic. I prefer the backs on this as well. They're like little Mickey hands, but with the Looney Tunes kind of thing going on in the background. But I'll just show you a few of these because it's adorable. So it's got the same kind of cute characters, but they've got a vintage, and it's the same with the larger cards as well. There's this old kind of sepia, although it's colour, but you know, that sort of aged feel to the images. But look, I mean, how adorable can you get with a deck? This one has a happy squirrel as well, but it doesn't fit. It's got this purple border. It makes it stand out. And again, if you wanted to do a reading with using a significator, you could look at the 9 of Swords there. I love it. I really, really love it. There's that damn 3 of Swords. 5 of Cups. Sorry, 4 of Cups. It's because I looked down and saw the 5 of Cups. Look at that. Yeah, it's just such a beautiful, beautiful deck. Here's our Fool. So, and this one has a Pixie card as well. Look at that. And it actually says Pixie rather than Pamela Coleman Smith, like in the Smith Tiny. So, adorable. So this one has become my favourite by Destiny. In terms of that sort of, because a lot of their decks have got these kind of cutie characters now. I mean, I love Location, Spirit of Place. I think that's a phenomenal deck that they did. Really phenomenal. And I've not seen anything like that before in Tarot. The final one out of these 3 is the Delos Tarot. Love it. This is the 2nd edition. I don't have the 1st edition now. And it was a shame because when they released the 2nd edition, they changed it from a lovely matte cardstock to a glossy cardstock. And I'm not quite sure why they would do that. Again, I put this one in order this afternoon so you can see it. So it does follow the RWS, but they have like a witchy vibe. And I know a lot of people really gel with Everyday Witch, not Everyday Witch. Yeah, Everyday Witch. I can't look behind me because that's one those big boxes are in the other shelving unit. I've got over 200 decks in the other room. Look at that for a strength card. Hermit. Love the colours and the shading. Yeah, it's very, very RWS, but again, you know, although that death isn't. Oh no, there's 2 death cards, of course. One that's more kind of. Oh gosh, it's the opposite way on this camera. More in keeping with RWS, and then there's one here, which is more Marseille-ish, Grim Reaper type. So yeah, so Delos Tarot as well is one that's, I think, a scarf deck, a hug deck. Let's see what you guys have been saying, then we'll do the final prompt. So I should have paused it, shouldn't I? People are about the Arthurian. Hug deck, no competition, playful heart. That's the one by Kitten Chops in it. That's the deck that's been on my wish list the longest. I don't know why I just don't do it, but again, it's gonna have to come from overseas and things. The Way of the Panda, that's a beautiful hug deck. I've got that. That is nice. The decks by Nikita as well are really nice. You know, like the Rabbit Tarot and Badger's Forest, and they're really nice hug decks too. Show that like button. Who is boss? I was wondering what that was then. What you were saying. Does anybody know the link to the Smith Tiny? If anybody's got the link to, if it's still available, because all of their decks are limited editions. They come numbered with how many of, but they do tend to re-release different versions of them. But I would just Google Destiny. Destiny. They've been said here already, but my big decks definitely Mythic Tarot and Mystical Cats. Oh, it's just jumped. I've lost it. My hug deck would be Oak, Ash and Thorn. Another great hug deck there. I've got 2 Arthurian Tarots. This is my oldest one. When I was on about the other day, the red one, Sandra, that's that one. So I've got that version where it slides out the bottom. And I think the new deck has gone back to this card design. The one that's in the like a lavender purpley box. But I've got that one and the most recent one, the green one. And that red one was a gift to leaving party when I left my old job. A mum had passed away and they cleared a house out and they found that tarot deck and said, she's like, I don't read tarot, do you want it? I was like, yes, please. That's my original assignment, but mine was in one of those cassette type boxes. Yeah, I've got one of those cassette type boxes for Brian Cormac Carr sent it me. I did an interview with him, and as a thank you, he sent me Tarot of the Old Path in the cassette box, which was really cool. I think the Osho Zen used to come in a old cassette type box, VHS box, isn't it? All right, so the last prompt is Mittens. Your travel deck for reading on the go. Now, I changed up my travel deck in the start of the new year. You know, when you get your bag ready for work, it's like things carry on from school days, isn't it? You're going back to school, you've got to get your bag sorted. And I do it, you know, every time there's a holiday. I'm like, oh, I'm back at work tomorrow, I need to get my bag sorted. Like, it's fine, but it's something I've always done. So I changed it up. But I have a travel size deck that I usually take with me. Although that said, I've put decks that are in tins before, and I've got ones that are in Kelly bags or Anne pouches, and I throw them in my bag and I'll take them with me. But at the moment, I've got this little case. It was sent to me as a gift. There's a little pocket there, look, for my my business cards. If you've never seen my business card, that's my business card. And that's the back. So I carry some of them in this little pouch, and I've also got in here somewhere. There we are. Just a quartz point. You know, you always have to carry a quartz point, don't you? This is the good all-rounder. The lovely Cecilia in her group, she's got a Facebook group, the Barefoot Pagans, named after her channel, was talking about a crystal of the week or crystal of the day. I can't remember which it was now, and it was quartz, and was just saying how quartz is just that, you know, if you only could get your hands on one crystal, then a quartz is the good all rounder. So yeah. Anyway, I'm not here to talk about crystal. My travel deck, the one that's there ready on the go. I love your fabulous business cards. Thank you, Sharona. Recognise it from the backs. Again, it's an RWS, but this is by Conrad Stein. It's on MPC, and this is Pam's old deck. Now, I do have the full version. This is what it looks like, Pam's old deck. And there's been lots of decks like Tarot Vintage by Los Carabeo, loads of kind of vintagey type of RWS decks. But this one is my favourite. I love, even the borders, look, they've got this aged effect. So it keeps the style of RWS, but it's got a vintage feel. And it's not just the case that a filter has been applied to the RWS, it hasn't. If you could see, you know, people complain about like the bright yellow skies and things like that, or the gaudy blues. They've all got this same background. You focus on the foreground. Thank you, Anne. And again, this is the lovely Superior Smooth cardstock. I just love it. Conrad did such a great job. He's even kept, you know, the oh shit squiggle for the sun. It's got Pixie's font, calligraphy. I mean, look, the background, it's the same kind of sepia. There's no gaudy yellow or anything like that. Not that I mind that, I don't at all, actually. I don't mind it, but I know some people do. So this is a nice vintage version. So there we have it. That's my response to Kelly Bear's Tarot Winter Wardrobe. Thank you for playing along. It's been, oh, you're on about Lemurian quartz, yeah. Sandra, you sent me a piece of Lemurian quartz, didn't you? Where is it, actually? It's on one of these shelves. I love it. Right, I shall pull a card for us. In fact, I've got this deck out. We'll use this deck. Yeah, it's a lovely size. It's not too small, but it's great for portability. Ciccoli Ciccoli is a great deck. Nicoletta Ciccoli. I've got that in a mini, but that is really mini. That's very small. Okay. So let's pull a card for the collective. Something to focus on for the week ahead. Usually by now I've got a jumper, but I'll go when I think we're ready. Okay. Oh, we've got a court card this week. We've got the King of Swords. Okay, so I think our message is the time is now to get a grip on the situation. It may have felt like for the longest time that you've kind of had like a cloud, a fogginess in front of you. And and you've not felt that you've been able to see things quite clearly or move in the direction that you want to go, well, that's about to change. Okay? Don't doubt yourself. We really need to imbue the energy of the King of Swords here. Particularly don't doubt your intelligence. You are intelligent. You have got the intelligence that you need to be able to move in the direction that you want to go into. Okay, the direction you want to go. I think a lot of the times we hold ourselves back because we don't think we can do something. We doubt ourselves. And this card at this time is telling you that actually, you know, you've got the abilities. You've got the abilities. Don't doubt yourself. Don't hold yourself back, particularly when it comes to thinking that I can't do it. I don't have that capability, because you do. And with this cloud, this fogginess, you know, starting to dissipate, you will see clearly a way forward. You will see the opportunity present itself to you. But what you mustn't do is panic and just think, actually, I can't do it. Get a grip of the situation, give yourself a talking to, and move forward. You've got this. That wasn't a cloud, it's a 100-mile wide hurricane. Oh dear. Anyway, thank you for being here. It's bang on 8:30. That was good. That was timed really well. Yes, the King of Swords, your interpretation was spot on. Mental clarity and breakthrough. Thank you. I appreciate that. As I appreciate all you guys being here every week. Highlight of my week, as I always say. I should be on in the week, I think. No doubt. But if not, I will be here next weekend. Yes, it's the Sunday. I've got a cocktail event for a friend's birthday, but that's the Sunday. So I will be here next week. So I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. And whatever it is that you're doing, stay safe. And yeah, until next time, go in peace. Namaste and blessed be.